Hello to all our viewers, our stakeholders, the faculty, staff, students, and even the alumni of Foundation University. It's the first Thursday of the month of January, and we are welcoming the brand new year 2025, not only here at Foundation University, but all over the world, and in fact, including the general community. So for tonight's episode, friends, we have deemed it fit to pick the champion of the recently concluded Pasundayag in celebration of the Kasadyaan Festival and also in celebration of the 75th or the Diamond Jubilee of Foundation University. And they come from the College of Nursing, the biggest college in the university. So may I introduce at least three of those who composed the group. And I think they are all agog to share their experiences to all of us. May I start off with a lady immediately to my left. She is Miss Rochelle Anne Abello, and she's a level 2 student nurse. Hi, Rochelle. Pleasant evening.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, thank you very much. And beside Rochelle here is Joechel. Rochelle and Joechel. Joechel Alonde. Hi, Joechel.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. How are you?
Thank you very much. And yes, to complete our group tonight, may I also introduce to everyone Anthon Kyle Tropezado. He is in his level 4, fourth year. Yes. Hello, Kyle. Good evening.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Yes, and these members of the College of Nursing recently won, the Pasundayag Festival in celebration of the 75th or the Diamond Jubilee of Foundation University. And my goodness, not only are they champions, but they also roamed away with most of the major awards. May I enumerate them for all of our viewers, and you can expound on them later on, huh? So, Pasundayag, you are the champion, and you were also best in choreography. Look at that. Best choreographer, of course. Most disciplined contingent. Most promising performers, and of course, the champion. And not only that, for the Parada, no, that's the parade of lights that we used to call here at Foundation University. You were also the champion, best in choreography, and also best in banner. Wow, look at that. Now, may I ask all of you guys, no? Anthon Kyle here is in his level 4.
Yes,
the ladies are in their second year, no? But this particular course that you have, just like all other courses in the university, requires discipline, vigor, determination, and so on. Tell us, no, your experience of being in this particular festival and emerging as champions in the middle of your schoolwork. May I ask Kyle first?
So at first it was really hard because as a level 4 student, we are also graduating, and I think managing time, although most days we are sometimes free, but sometimes we are heavily loaded depending on the day because of our duties, or in case if we're studying for exams, we have to prepare, especially since this coming January we have to take our comprehensive exam. But through the process of the whole joining Pasundayag, I was actually the last member to get to be able to join Pasundayag because they needed a male. And although I was hesitant at first, I was thinking this is gonna be my last year, so I have to make it count. So yeah, and I joined and I had no regrets whatsoever. I think we were successful in taking the crown.
Yeah, right. And I think you made the great decision for you, Kyle. Yeah, how about for Joechel?
For me, ma'am, it was an amazing experience, yet I have to make sacrifices because that time I was my studies and dancing, I have to balance it, and I have to, after practicing, I still have to study for tomorrow's exams and quizzes. So yeah, it was hard for me, but in the end, it was all worth it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, how about Rochelle?
For me, since in level 2 or in second year, it starts to get very loaded with schoolworks and projects, especially that we have duties and practicals, and then we have our case studies. So for us, it was really hard to balance it out, but we needed to have we needed to adjust and have time management for us to balance as a student and also to represent our department for the competition. And of course, I was hesitant to join first, but then I also thought that with last year's experience, because we also joined for the Pasundayag, and then I was like, maybe this is worth a shot, and like to have a small distraction with everything personal going on, and like it was a very good decision for me to join, since for me I really love dancing. And then with throughout the experience with the practices, we made a lot of memories, and not just that, we made really good friends with different levels. We were really happy that with our wishes that we will be claiming the crown as champions, and we were able to do it and like give our best during the performance.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a really great experience.
Are the members of the Pasundayag group the same group that also participated in the Parada?
No.
No,
Joechel?
ma'am. No.
It's a different group.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, Pasundayag is different from Parada.
Yeah. So a different group, no?
Yes.
So, but how many members are there in the Pasundayag
At least 15.
group?
15.
15, 1
15 for
5.
Yeah.
Pasundayag, and
then
40 plus for Parada.
40.
Yes.
Ay, okay. But you can very well gather that great number, no? Because after all, you're the biggest college in the university. Yes. Oh. But I understand, I gathered from our conversation that you also had a very stringent requirement, no? It's not like pulling out a student and then making him or her like join the Pasundayag or the Parada. How did the selection come about, Kyle?
So we had like this like organization, so it's like FEASN. It's like an organization within nursing that we had to like elect for the next year. And in our organization, we had to like make auditions. So we did auditions for Hara, Pasundayag, and even for singing. Like because like we had to like hold up like auditions so that we could like pick potential like people in case if there's like an intermission or an event. These are the people you have to look for. And for Pasundayag, we strictly had to like pick and narrow down to like 15. And I think like in our auditions, I was actually one of the chairpersons who organized the audition, so I oversee the whole event happening. And what happened was like we were like CIs, at least 4 of them were like judging the dancers. If this specific dancer, there's a criteria we had. So if this specific dancer fits for Pasundayag, okay, go. But if this dancer is like his style or her style is not fitting for this Pasundayag style, so they would like put them at a separate category for just like intermissions or something like that.
Okay, really very stringent, no? In other words, it's not like simply just complying with what the university has asked us, no? But did you really aim, I'm curious, no? And I think our viewers are too. Did you aim, of course, to win or get the championship?
Yes,
Wow,
we really
really?
did.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, last
maybe
year
Rochelle.
we were just in 2nd place, and then
Yeah.
we were really promising to ourselves that next year's Pasundayag competition we would really claim the crown, because we really want to represent the talents of College of Nursing.
Okay.
Actually, last year we were like, okay, next year it's gonna be our
Oh,
time.
really? Okay.
Well, in the end, our
Yeah.
sacrifices are.
But 2nd place is already
Yeah.
very
Yes,
good,
ma'am.
of course, no? With the number of colleges that we have in the university.
We were also able to claim the important awards during the 2nd place, because it's a really big pride to get the best in choreography,
Yes.
like best
That
choreographer.
was last year.
Yeah, we
Ah,
also
oo.
did get
Yes.
that.
And again, this
And this year
And
also.
again this year.
Wow, my goodness. Yeah, maybe the difference is just a very slight margin, no?
Yeah.
Maybe last year, but
Yeah.
now you were able to finally claim the crown. Yeah, and then of course for the Parada, you also did very well, no, Kyle? Oo. But rehearsals, and this is something again that I am curious about, no? Because you said that it's a different group for Pasundayag, different group also for the Parada. The rehearsals that you did, of course, they did not clash with the schedules of each one.
Yes, it did not. Usually, the practices usually happens after classes, like after the classes of all the students, and we have to like arrange at what time should we practice basing on the schedules of the students.
This year's theme actually for the Kasadyaan Festival is focusing on endemic flowers, no? In Negros Oriental. So yours is
Jade
The
vine.
Jade vine.
jade vine, okay, no? But this is endemic in Negros Oriental. Tell us how you conceptualized both your Pasundayag presentation vis-a-vis, no, your Parada presentation. Kyle first.
So the jade vine is a really rare flower. So it was actually almost extinct, but like the story behind it was the revitalization of the jade vine. So basically, there were bats, if you noticed in our dances, because they were the key. They had a key role in revitalizations of the jade vine. They had to like. If it were bees, they had to like pollinate, but with bats, they had to like it's
Urinate
kind
or
of a weird
spit.
way, but they had to spit the jade vines in order to let them reproduce again.
Okay.
And it's a really unique concept to which like at first the jade vines were a majestic like flower, and then they were almost extinct, and then they were revived again, and then they're back in the Philippines, and in the night. Especially in the night, since bats are also like nocturnal.
Yes, yes.
So they really shine in the dark.
So they go together pala, no? The
Yes.
bats and the jade vine flowers. Yeah, Joechel,
It's like
you
the
want to add something?
jade vines is the light through darkness. Like they're the one helping develop our diversities.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Very interesting. Yeah,
And
Rochelle.
it's really, it's actually great that we chose jade vine
Yeah.
because with the representation with the flower and us, with our department, it's fierce and it like guides, it illuminates during the night, and it really shows the connection between the talents and the fierceness of the College of Nursing with the flower that we are representing.
Okay, yeah. I think we did a drawing of lots, no? So it's not actually you who chose it, but fortunately, the jade vine went to you.
Yeah.
So you felt that the jade vine as a flower also best represented the College of Nursing?
Nursing, yes.
Oo.
It was
Joechel,
like
yeah.
fate.
Rochelle.
Just like
yeah.
fate that
talaga.
like the jade vine was
Also same color with our
Yeah, same
with
color.
department.
Department.
Okay, which is like...
Teal.
Like teal.
Yeah, the teal.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Okay. So para bang it's providential, no? That the jade vine. Did it help in your like conceptualization of your choreography? Did it help in like bringing up the best among the dancers and among the students? Because you really felt the connection.
Yes.
Oo. Yeah.
And with individuals of the members of the Pasundayag group, actually we have different dancing styles, and we really needed to adjust with the Pasundayag dancing style because it's really different from modern dances
Okay.
with other styles of dances. And fortunately, there are some members of our group has like really talents with stunts, and they were able to like show it towards the crowds and towards the performance, and it's a really great performance.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and then the costumes, by the way, maybe you can tell our viewers as well, no, how you conceptualize the costumes, because we have always been, no, the university has always been emphasizing that like we use recyclable materials, or maybe we can upscale, no, or upscale perhaps certain materials that we have. So how did you go about it? Kyle first.
So so we had to like pick like a specific color. So yeah, we picked teal to match the jade vine.
Okay.
And then actually at first our costumes were almost dull, but like we added like a specific like figure at our like body.
Like
it was like a
vines.
vine. Yeah, it was a vine, and then we had to like put glitter so it would like
Yeah.
illuminate still in the
Sparkle.
dark.
Yeah.
because like usually when we were performing, it's like really pitch black or dark.
Yeah,
with like
right.
minimal lighting.
Yes, yes.
And also with the headdress, it was actually one of the highlights of our like costume because it almost like represented like we were also warriors at the same time. It was like spiky a little bit.
Yeah, yes.
And with our lanterns, those were the jade vines we were holding. And it like, yeah, it represents the jade vines. And when we were dancing, especially when we picked it up and it was all pitch black, we had to like light them up, and then it really went well with the theme.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we also used recycled
Rochelle.
materials
Yes,
with the
yes.
lights. We used plastic bottles.
Coca-Cola bottle.
Other students were instructed to bring Coca-Cola bottles if
Okay.
they have in their house
Okay.
for the department to upcycle it.
Okay, yeah.
And then with the costume on our part, we
We
only
made
the design we made. We
Oh.
made it.
It was last minute.
Last minute
last
decision because
Wow, look at
we
that.
were like doing like costume practices, and then we like there was something missing with our costume, so we decided to put something on top of our at the top of our costume, and then it was like we did it for like one night.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did
And
you add
went
to your?
home
What did you add?
The vine and then the glitters, because we really need to like
Glow in the dark.
glow in the
Yes,
dark,
yes.
because if we didn't like decide to do that, I think there will be a difference when it comes to our performance.
Yeah.
during
And
the
it will be
day.
pitch dark maybe, no?
Yeah.
Even if there may be lights, no, on stage, for example. That's for the Pasundayag, or even for the Parada, right? You also had glitters, I think, no, for the Parada. Did you have glitters in the Parada? Or
fairy lights,
Oh,
fairy
yeah,
lights,
okay.
so that
Small light.
oh yeah, small lights
Lights.
around
the body,
yeah,
body
around
of
the
the
body.
dancers.
But it still provided some glitter, no? In your costume.
their
The headdress.
Okay, the
there's
headdress
glitters.
also, yes. Oh. Of course, you mentioned, I think, some lessons that you may have learned, no? And perhaps experiences that you will be bringing with you even after you graduate from Foundation University. But overall, no, perhaps what lessons or maybe some takeaways that you got out of this particular experience, especially for Kyle, because he is now in his fourth year, and then of course you still have maybe two more,
years.
yeah. Yes, Kyle.
So my main takeaway is like the whole forte of like just dancing, because like I really wasn't expecting to like just become a dancer out of nowhere, and like actually it has been my passion ever since I was a kid, but like it was this college, like it opened my mind to be more, to be more confident, because back when I was like in high school, I wanted to dance, but like I didn't have the courage to just like enter competitions, and like it was like a big change for me. And then I never really regretted like being able to even go to intermissions and just dance in front of the stage. Even did like one performance that I had to like dance solo, and at first it was a bit embarrassing, but like at the same time I was like trying to go out of my shell. And my main takeaway for like joining Pasundayag is like dancing as an art, and I like really appreciate showing my passion and just like expressing how my feelings are towards dancing. And it's like as I graduate and thinking about like I'll never forget this moment that I was able to take the crown and like make my classmates, my CIs, my family proud.
Right, yeah. Did you join Pasundayag and Parada?
No, just only Pasundayag.
Pasundayag, yes. Okay, wow, great, no? Yeah, how about Joechel?
For me, ma'am, my biggest lesson is that I have to balance my studies and also my passion, because ever since before I'm already dancing, and and dancing is really my passion, and it makes me express my feelings. And also during that we were having our rehearsals, I have to sacrifice my time for studies because it's already out of time for us to finish the dance. And also there were upcoming exams that I have to study for tomorrow. But I know that I love dancing and also I love nursing, so I need to balance it out so that in the end I can achieve the both goal that I want to do in my
Yeah.
life.
Did you join Pasundayag and Parada?
No,
Or
I only joined Pasundayag,
Pasundayag.
since I'm already a dancer before in Pasundayag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I'm amazed. No, at the things that you can do, guys. Yeah.
And for
Rochelle.
me, the biggest lesson that I've learned during this experience is that I shouldn't be afraid to get out of my shell and be like as active as I am right now, because I haven't been really active with school activities and like that back in when I was in my junior high school years. Just started being active during in my senior years, and then with dancing, I have finally like done it during in my college years, that I've been really regretting that I wasn't able to do it during junior high school years. And it's nice that I was able to experience dancing with friendship that I've made during the practices and all. And actually, it's very reflecting on me on how because I'm not very like the type of person who socialize very well or like who goes out with their shell, and I'm trying to change it now, and it's really great, and I'm not regretting it.
Yeah. Did you join both Pasundayag and Parada? Or
No, only in Pasundayag, because I
Pasundayag.
was also an old dancer in
Okay,
Pasundayag
yes.
also.
But you know, I'm also like I admire the tenacity of your clinical instructors, your professors, even Dean Jeffrey Catalan, for like bringing out the best in all of you, But again, very quickly before we end this particular segment, the discipline that is imposed in you in the College of Nursing. Do you think this is going to also, and of course the experience that you had in Pasundayag and in Kasadyaan, how will this particular skill or trait help you, especially when you become registered or professional nurses already? Kyle first.
I think like when it comes to like dancing and nursing, I think it's like there's a similarity between them, because like in nursing you always have to look out for others, and you have to also think about and also memorize all the medications or like the procedures. Same goes with dancing. I think it's like it's not just only about memorization, but it's also about the major discipline. Even though you have to like practice every day, it's all about like it's all about the will, the willpower of like continuing. You know it's really tough. You know it's gonna be hard. They're challenges. They're the same. They're challenges, and you have to like go through. And I think like when it comes to their similarities, it's just all about like knowing how to handle your time and knowing how to manage it really well. Because when it comes to like nursing, it's like all about time management, and then it's like your time is divided with your personal time, your academics, and then you have also dancing, and then you have to really think about it really well, that you have to really focus on one day, and another day is for another like specific area you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And especially like since I'm graduating now, I've already like seen all the tough challenges. Like it can be really tough, and my advice for my fellow second years, you're getting there, but for me, like you'll eventually pull through as long as you know your objectives in life. And I think that you could really push through and just be proud of yourself every day. Don't think so negatively, and because optimistic is always a really powerful tool in your arsenal, because even though it's like a really bad day, you'll get through it with a smile at the end.
Yeah, and to think that this is coming from like a student nurse, very tough discipline, of course. Yeah.
So for me, nursing and dancing is you have to possess confidence. You need to be confident on yourself.
Right.
Just like when you're dancing on the stage, you have to build your confidence so that you don't have to be shy. Also in nursing, as a nursing, you have to be confident on how you manage your patient and how you build rapport to them, especially that's important. So if you have confidence, you can be able to do whatever you want without being like shy or something like that.
So it developed your character also,
Yeah,
no?
I've developed that I need
Joechel.
to be confident.
Yeah.
I'm dancing confident, so when I'm in my duty, I have to be confident.
Yeah, that's
Also,
really
yeah.
nice. No, that's nice. Yeah,
Yes.
Rochelle.
My takeaway for the experience of Pasundayag and also as me as a student nurse, it's really important that in facing challenges, you shouldn't be letting yourself down. You should like go through it and able to fight it back off so that you would be able to get back on your feet and like do well with dancing and also with taking care of your patients, and also with, in addition with confidence, you really need to have confidence in order to deliver the care that you need to do, and also with dancing.
Yeah, great, no? And I think this is not too early for me to say kudos, of course, no? And then Godspeed, no? Especially for Kyle for the forthcoming licensure exam. And then for the two ladies here, Joechel and then Rochelle, perhaps you may still join the forthcoming Kasadyaan, no?
Probably.
Yeah, yes. Given the tough schedule and the very rigid schedule that you have. But I think the willpower, as mentioned by all of you guys, no? And then determination to really make your college proud of you, no? Is there in each one of you. So congratulations once again and Godspeed in your future endeavors. And I think if I may leave our viewers with this particular quote, especially for this particular segment, is every setback is actually a setup for a comeback, no?
Yes.
Because you were second place last year, now you are first, and you are now the champion. Yes. So we end this particular segment, friends, with our student nurses coming from the College of Nursing, of course, who emerged as champions in the Pasundayag and also the Parada in last year's Kasadyaan Festival. And may I segue to the next segment of this particular episode, which is an interview that we did or recorded last year with one of the Sinco children, and she is the daughter of Mr. Luis Leandro Sinco, Miss Sophia Francesca Sinco, although we fondly call her as Sunny. Let's watch this. Hi to all our friends, our stakeholders, the faculty and staff of Foundation University, and all those who have been watching us both on live stream and also on Channel 6 of Phil Products TV Dumaguete. Here we are again. It's another Thursday evening, and I think all of you have made Thursdays as your regular habit. Here we are on iGreyhound, and yes, we have a special guest for tonight's episode, friends. And as always, we make it a point to make sure that our episodes are those that you are looking forward to and also learn some insights and lessons from. But before anything else, may I introduce to you our guest for tonight's episode. Wow, she's a first-timer on iGreyhound, but not exactly a first-timer on campus because she herself is a Sinco. I'd like to introduce to all our viewers, her full name is Miss Sophia Francesca Sinco, but we fondly call her as Sunny. Hi, Miss Sunny, and pleasant evening. You too. Yes, very good. And since you are here to help the university celebrate our 75th founding anniversary, it's really great for you to come back on campus. But first and foremost, before you say something about our Diamond Jubilee, what reminiscences can you remember? No? What are those that you can reminisce of your childhood here on campus at Foundation University and in Dumaguete City?
Yeah, I grew up around campus, so I think when I think about specific memories, I remember, I believe it was my 12th birthday. Lolo got the marching band to go outside the executive house and play me happy birthday when I came out in the morning. I also remember playing with Patrick. There was a particular rainstorm where the space between the two houses got all filled in and we were swimming between the two houses. I don't think that went very well for us. I feel like we probably got a cold after that. But yeah, I grew up around this campus and so it's really nice to be back.
Yeah. So you're talking about the two executive houses that we have here on campus, where you lived, of course, right? Where you lived. And you mentioned Patrick. Patrick is one of the sons of our president, Dean Sinco. But you are of course, you have your own personality. You have your own life and career. But I'd like to refer to you as the daughter of one of the Sinco brothers, Mr. Luis Sinco, who we had interviewed here as well on iGreyhound, a photojournalist. Yes. And since you're here now, here at least for this particular celebration in the university, I understand that you've gone around the campus and also talked to our kids, to the students of Foundation Preparatory Academy. Tell us about that experience, Sunny.
Yeah, I spent most of the time, I think, with the teachers. The kids have been so busy getting ready for this week. But it was really great to work with the teachers and to hear some of the things that they're thinking about. I know they told me that some of the things most on their mind are, of course, inclusive education, thinking about how we serve every learner in every classroom, as well as social emotional learning and wellness, which has become, I think, really forefront in terms of the work that we do in schools. And finally, of course, we have a very high-tech campus. And so we're thinking about how to keep up with the kids and make their iPads be great learning devices as well.
Great that you have met our teachers over at the Foundation Preparatory Academy, and they have actually been doing very well. You mentioned inclusive education. Your background, Sunny, as an educator, I understand you are an assistant principal in one of the middle schools back in the U.S. What specific state is this,
in
Sunny?
Washington State.
In Washington State, okay, where your uncle, Sir Dean, also graduated.
And also, my dad.
And your dad, yes, Sir Luis Cinco. But your background as an educator, of course, you have had some dealings, with middle schoolers and even probably younger than them, But how do you see the present landscape of the educational system here in the Philippines? I wonder if you may have had some not really a comparison, but maybe where do we come in as far as education is concerned? Maybe we can talk about our own university.
When I come here, I just do a lot of listening, and so I think it's hard for me to comment overall on the landscape of education in the Philippines. I know of certain advances, so I know about the addition, of course, of the 11th and 12th grade into the preparatory academy. But I've just really enjoyed, I think, getting to know the leaders and the educators here at this school and the great work that they're doing. And I think really appreciate the number of greyhounds that we then see being teachers. I think that says something really important about the culture that we're cultivating here and the sense that people have of service, which I know is one of our values, that we want to, of course, enrich the entire city of Dumaguete and the entire island of Negros Oriental. But I think, this week especially, we're seeing a real commitment to building up this place and these people. And you see that in the teachers overall, but especially the teachers that have come through Foundation themselves, who then feel that commitment to give back. So it's very cool.
The dedication, you mentioned the dedication and commitment, not only of those at the Foundation Preparatory Academy, but I think overall, it radiates in each faculty member, perhaps in those, among those that you have met so far, or maybe rekindled ties, because you said you have been here and also visit the campus intermittently. But you're being an educator. Would you say that you followed in the footsteps of your grandmother, Dr. Mira Sinco, as well as your grandfather?
I think probably by accident.
Okay.
So I got into education, I think, because it was something that I was very familiar with. And so in college, I would tutor or I would support young kids who are learning to read and after school programs. And I think I found my way into those programs because I did have so much familiarity with education and with the work of giving back to a community through teaching. And so then when it came time to pick my career, it was not actually my first choice career.
Really?
But it was one that for the moment I think made a lot of sense because I did have all of those experiences with schools, both in the States and here. And then it just stuck. And I looked back and now it's been 13 years and I feel a little bit surprised that I'm still there.
Since graduation or since you finished your degree program.
I started teaching directly out of college.
Immediately
so I was
out.
21 when I started teaching.
Wow, and that has been 13 years ago. You said so. Wow, look at that, no? Can you recall certain maybe words of wisdom coming from Dr. Mira Sinco, your grandmother, and I suppose you also you were able to meet your granddad also. Yes,
I
okay. Sir Leandro or Sir Andy. Yes, words of wisdom or perhaps things that you may have remembered until now while you were growing up.
I think one of the things that I find myself coming back to a lot now is that, Lola especially, but I remember Lolo being the same way. They are very detail-oriented people, and of course they know what's going on, and we heard this morning about Lola being at the front gate, right? So they appreciate the details, but I also think they have the perspective of the big picture. And so I think sometimes when you're in education, you can feel really lost in how big it is and how hard it is to have a really systematic impact. And I think I have really seen the two of them do a lot of small moves that made a really big difference.
Yeah, can you imagine that? No? Yeah.
Yeah. And so sometimes when I can't sleep because it's conveniently 16 hours ahead here, I'll call Dad or Lola and I'll say, I can't sleep. It was a stressful day. And they will remind me, right, that change happens one day at a time. And that like sometimes, you gotta sometimes you gotta be in the big picture and sometimes you have to just pay attention to the detail right in front of you and trust you'll get there.
Yeah. You are the first grandchild of Sir Leandro and Mamira, first grandchild. So in other words,
I'm the first granddaughter.
First granddaughter, but first granddaughter, but you are the eldest among Sir Luis Cinco's children. Okay, but coming back like sporadically to the Philippines or to Dumaguete and then shuttling between the Philippines and the U.S. How do you assess yourself? Are you like mid-Filipino, mid-American, or a good combination of both?
I guess that depends who you ask. I should ask my friends whether they think how Filipino they think I am. No, but I mean, I feel very proudly Filipino. I think the United States has really grown in terms of its ability to appreciate the nuance of race and of culture.
Exactly.
And so I would say, especially in the last several years, I've come to really appreciate what it means to be both white on my mom's side and Filipino on my dad's side.
Right.
And I do feel a really deep sense of connection here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it also helps that I spent several periods of my childhood being raised by Lolo and Lola. And so there are those memories that make it feel like it was a part of my upbringing as well.
You know, it's a blessing, no? And it's also like a convenient way of letting you be nurtured by both grandparents and of course your parents, no? Because I think that aspect is very Filipino. I wonder, is that very Filipino, like growing up with
To
your
have grandparents be so involved?
Or maybe live with them, like what you did?
I mean, I think it varies a lot by families. I think that there are a lot of cultural traditions that people retain if they're able to.
Okay.
I know that historically in the United States, there has been a lot of like communities follow each other. You know, so we see a lot of people follow their aunts and their uncles or their brothers and sisters, and that grows communities. But you do also see people who do it alone and who immigrate to the United States without that sense of connection. I know Lola is one of them, right? That she immigrated to the United States without anybody there as family. And so she did not have that benefit of being able to share in the child rearing beyond her and my Lolo. And I know that that was something that I think was difficult for her. Because she felt a real sense of responsibility to be able to play all of those roles. And so you'll hear my dad tell, and Lola actually, tell the stories of Lola flying home for a weekend every 2 weeks, and she would cook all weekend long and she'd clean all weekend long, and then she'd go back to her studies. And I think that that is really indicative of the experience that she tried to create and the things that were probably missing from what she wanted her kids to have that just couldn't be possible because her family was so far away.
Exactly. You know, Dr. Mira Sinco, who we call now as President Emeritus, wears many hats.
Yes.
Of course, when she was much younger, no? But even until now, no? Do you see a little part or a big chunk of yourself in your grandmother, Sunny?
Yeah, I think so. I also get told a lot that I have the same approach and the same, I think, philosophies. So I would say so, yeah.
Probably because you also went into education.
Probably.
No? Yeah. You mentioned technology, and you also said that, yes, here at Foundation, we're big, no? On technology, the iPad education over at the Foundation Preparatory Academy, and actually all over campus. No? You can feel the throb and the innovations. And
I mean, in the presentations last night, I was impressed.
Right.
What was it? The computer tech school that had the laser?
Right. So in other words, all of these actually come into fore, especially when we bask in the creativity as well as in the innovativeness of our students. Now, but how important, Sunny, in your role or in your profession as an educator is technology? Or can we dissociate technology or integrate it? Or should they be regarded as two separate entities? And then they can come together and so on? What is a good combination of all of these things?
I mean, I think that technology is something we're not going to get away from, and it's one of those things where, like, if you don't explicitly teach it, then something else will, right? We always talk about, like, if you don't make the culture will make itself, and I think that that's true in terms of technology as well, right? And so I find that in our context, in Washington especially, which is a very tech-oriented place with a lot of the major tech companies, Microsoft, Google, Amazon.
It's all there. No?
We often are thinking about what we call digital citizenship, which is helping our students to think about how their education sits within like an increasingly digital world, and how they can be like critical consumers and thoughtful participants in that type of world, right? I think previously we would have just taught about like citizenship and civics. But now we need to think about like what does it mean to have a social media account with 1 million followers,
right.
And also sometimes we have to tell kids, like, you probably won't be the next YouTube star, so let's have a backup plan.
Yeah, right. Are they? I wonder. How, of course, you can talk about the culture that has always been prevalent in the U.S. and in the schools or in the school where you are teaching, no, or are associated with. But like, are they really so attached to technology? You mentioned like YouTube and so on, that they may not have a life of their own anymore. I wonder.
I mean, I don't know that it's so much about like having a life of your own or not having a life of your own, but I mean, I do think that it is a very present part of their life, right? Most of our kids have cell phones. Most of them have at least one social media account. Our school district does do one-to-one devices. We use Chromebooks, not iPads. But I think that it is a really inevitable part of their education and of their experience, and so like we can either fight it or we can roll with it.
Right.
And I think in this particular case, like we have to be really thoughtful about how we teach students to the context around what they're learning. So that it fits within that digital age. When I was working actually with the teachers at FPA on Tuesday, one thing I did is I had them interacting with some trends cards. So it was some research that I had a chance to interact with a couple of years ago from an organization in the United States. And what they had done is that they had statements around what is likely to be universally true in 10, 20 years, and then the data behind that. And a lot of those statistics were related to the prevalence that we expect to see of AI and the use of social media and people's identities as they are tied to social media. And so I think it's just very important to help students figure out how to navigate that digital world in the same way that we help them to figure out how to navigate interpersonal relationships or school systems. It's another layer.
Yeah, right. You mentioned digital citizenship. Very interesting term or
like
phrase. Yeah, and also digital citizenship. And then I was also thinking while you were describing the kids and how they make use of technology and how it will affect them and make their lives much easier. Well, of course, these kids, even our kids here at the Foundation Preparatory Academy and our students here in the university as well, are digital natives. No? And yes, you are correct that we have to embrace technology and make sure that we're also attuned to the demands of the times. But again, not really a divide. Do you still see a divide, a digital divide among those who may not yet have totally gone into technology? I'm talking about perhaps the hinterlands in the Philippines, but of course, you may have read or maybe heard about that. And I think that is where the challenge is coming from, even among educators and even among educational leaders in the Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just as there is any inequity, we see that inequity play out in the digital realm as well. And I think it's a function of how much do students know or have experience with in terms of being able to use this technology, right? So while most students have a phone, do most students use that phone for academic purposes? Do they know how to do that? Do they understand banking when it's not a checkbook that you had to balance, but it's actually your own banking account coming and going from it? I know for me, having siblings that are so much younger than me, I feel like I am able to see that really stark difference, and it helps me then to anticipate for my students what the difference might be. Because, for example, right, my brother who is 10 years behind me, I remember my mom teaching me how to balance my checkbook and how to pay attention to how much money is in there and how much needs to be spent, whereas my brother has always just grown up with the banking app on his phone.
Oh, wow.
And he just knows that is there and trusts that the balance is correct.
Really?
Right. And I remember getting stern lectures when my balances didn't match up and I had to run the numbers myself.
My goodness. That would also help really. No? So it's we were jumping from education and then to finances, like having an e-wallet, no? an e-wallet where you transact business on your phone and everything like that. No? But I'm talking as well about those children, no, who may not have had maybe we can call it as a luxury, no, of having been exposed to such opportunities. I'm thinking aloud, perhaps, Sunny, no, but would you like recommend something like adapt a school program, something like that? Adapt a school, like for example, let me see, maybe just a general example. A class, maybe an education class, or any group of students for that matter, and then they adapt. It's adapting a school. In other words, they have it as part of their just a little responsibility of making these students or pupils aware of technology, adapting, but not exactly the big time adapting, no, or adapting, no, but just making them aware and being with the kids or with the pupils.
I mean, I think every experience, of course, matters. But I think when you're talking about something as like significant as like technology and really fostering all the components we've been talking about of that digital citizenship, I think it's tough to do that as like a one-time thing.
Okay.
Just like, if I were to give you a car and then say like, yeah, let's do one driving lesson and then leave you to it, I don't know that you would feel ready to drive around Dumaguete because it requires that ongoing education and I think technology in particular is constantly evolving so you do have to inherently have those touch points back so that the learning evolves as well.
That was exactly what I had in mind, adapting a school, and then after that what, right?
Yeah,
you teach me how to drive and then you leave me on my own, no? But what do I do after, no? So, but maybe I can share this with you. I interviewed, I think 2 or 3 biology students, here in the university, and they volunteered as facilitators of a particular project somewhere in one of the towns of Negros Oriental with a foreign founder or a founder who is not Filipino. And they actually all did very well, but it's all volunteer work, no? And they are students. That was what I had actually thought about, no? Just thinking aloud, maybe go to a school as part of an outreach program or something. Or extension.
I mean, I think we started this conversation, talking about some of the lessons that I've learned.
Exactly.
And from my Lolo and Lola, and certainly like single moments make a difference, right? As you know, they have in mind. But I think they have to be balanced out by constant support for change, right? And I think that that's true in anything, right? I think that if you look at the way that this university runs, right, it's not like people just pay their tuition and then it's like, hi, waved my magic wand and now here's your perfect education, right? There is that evolution. But I think what you're speaking to is I think a really important value, which is a value of service.
Yes, right.
And I think that like, yes, those moments might be one-off or it might be just for a season, but it's so important. I actually think yes, for the community that you're supporting, but I think more importantly for the students here at Foundation and the experience that they get, feeling that sense of impact, because I think that kind of change creation fosters momentum. And when you feel that sense of making a difference, it sticks with you, as I can attest to, because I was only supposed to teach for a short while.
Really?
And it just created momentum, and now here I am.
And before you know it, it has been more than 10 years.
Exactly.
Right? More than a decade already.
Yeah. And I think it's just, it's the momentum of change and feeling like you're making a difference.
What made you like stick it out to your career now? You said it was not even your first choice of a career.
Yeah, I mean, the kids were just amazing.
Really?
I think that for me, and maybe I get this from my Lola, but I find that I am very relational. And so that decision didn't even feel like a decision, because it would be, I'd get my class list for the next year and I would have so-and-so's brother, right? Or I would be working with this teacher again. And just that would happen over and over until here I am.
Oh, really? So it was just something like on a yearly basis, or maybe a semestral or a term basis, or something like that?
I think the first probably 5 years of teaching, it was year to year, deciding if I was going to do it. But after that, no.
Oh, wow.
After that, I was in.
Look at that, no? Wow. And here you are, and you see yourself in this particular career or profession maybe years from now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, great, no? But look at this, no? I'm looking at you and then trying to recall what had happened today when we launched the biography of your grandmother, and seeing all the Sinco kids and you yourself sharing, no? In this particular moment of glory for Mamira. But Sunny, here you are helping us celebrate, no? The 75th founding anniversary of our institution, or the institution that your grandparents have actually like started and founded and everything else. But a message as we wrap up this particular episode, your message to everyone, not only those who are here at Foundation, but even those who have passed through our pillars, and perhaps even those who may want to come and join us here at Foundation University. Your message, Sunny, you have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think I felt really inspired by the book and the many times that people referred to my Lola as a gardener. I think that this school does cultivate that belief that if you plant a seed and you nurture it well, it becomes something amazing. And in this case, my Lola planted a seed 75 years ago, feeling very connected to this community. And I think he could have made a very different choice, and now here we are. And I think it's something that we cultivate here at Foundation University, that our students should be planting seeds in the areas around which they feel passionate and cultivate them to grow. And I hope that that's something that future Greyhounds as well consider when they think about the school that is right for them, because that philosophy is so, I think, embedded here.
Right, beautiful message. And I think this is a legacy,
Absolutely.
of the Sinco family. My goodness, no, your grandparents, now your grandmother, who is President Emeritus, now your uncle, and of course your brother, who is always very supportive of his brother as well. So thank you very much, Sunny, for this nice conversation. We have to have you back whenever and wherever, perhaps. No, maybe not
a Zoom interview.
Yeah, same interview, but perhaps on another level, or maybe things that would probably have made you busier in the coming years. No? But hope to see you again. Should be soon. Not after 5 years, perhaps, but maybe sooner. Thank you very much, Sunny, and Godspeed in your professional and also your personal endeavors. Yes.
Thanks.
So with that, friends, we bring to a close this particular episode of iGreyhound. We have just been talking to Miss Sophia Francesca Sinco. We fondly call her a Sunny. She's the daughter of Luis Sinco, and of course, one of the grandchildren of Dr. Mira D. Sinco and the former university president, also Leandro or Andy Sinco. And yes, we are celebrating the 75th or the Diamond Jubilee of the university, and this has been a year-long celebration and would still go on until next year. We hope to see you in our future episodes, and please do not forget, we are also being streamed live on the Facebook page of Foundation University, and we are telecast on Channel 6 of Phil Products TV Dumaguete. This has been Cecile Henove bidding everyone a pleasant evening.
Since its inception in 1949, Foundation University has carved a place in academia, the home of the Greyhound. This school is a vanguard of technology, innovations, strategy, collaboration, and new directions towards excellence and quality. It has grappled with various challenges, most recently the worldwide pandemic. Its faculty and staff, students, and alumni remain true to the core values of excellence, commitment, integrity, and service. Foundation University will soon celebrate its Diamond Jubilee anniversary. It stands ready for what the future holds. We have built a community of influence started by founder Dr. Vicente G. Sinco. It is committed to a mission of making education accessible to all. On our 75th, Foundation University thrives to consistently realize its mission and vision, strives to be relevant in the exigencies of the times, comes alive despite circumstances, and in the process makes a headway for a high five to the rest of the world.
High five!